Why is it spicy?
Hi guys, it's Saturday. Welcome back to the den. So we are back in our kitchen. I'm sure you noticed that we are not washing and waxing the car.
That's correct.
Yeah, so it's been kind of rainy off and on, and we haven't really gotten a chance to go and finish the car, so we're joining you from our kitchen again. So last time we did that delicious fry bread recipe that my brother actually sent in.
This is Joe's recipe.
So this week we were making just kind of like a classic chili.
Yeah.
But I figured why not, because we made the fry bread, let's make the chili to go along with it.
What better thing to eat on an 85-degree day than some chili?
Now before we get started, I'm sure you've noticed a little blaze here up in the front.
Yes.
I'll let Ken explain that for you guys.
So Blaze is my nephew's, my sister's son, travel companion. He's a little dragon, and he goes with him wherever he goes when they travel. But since COVID is basically hindering everybody's travel plans this year, instead of traveling with my nephew, he's traveling to different family members, and the family members are taking him out and showing him things that are local to them. So he's visited like my aunt out in Colorado. Visiting us. He's visited people who still live in Cincinnati as well.
This little guy has traveled more than I have.
Yes. Yeah, and he's also been to Atlanta, so he's been all over this summer. A lot more than I have, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the packaging on the box was just adorable.
Yeah, so he'll be supervising us through this process because he's got his apron on and his chef hat, and
We figured also, if we're making a spicy chili,
who better to try out a spicy chili than a dragon, right?
why not? So we love like a nice meaty chili.
Yes.
So we're actually adding chorizo and ground beef. So there's going to be beef and pork in this recipe. If you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you don't have to add pork. You can substitute whatever meat replacement that you use, or straight veggies like we did last time.
Like tofurkey.
I used to buy ground round, which is like seasoned flavored soy, and it was similar to like a ground beef texture. A little bit sweeter, but...
Yeah, ground round in the States just refers to low quality beef.
So in front of us, I'm sure you can see a nice plethora of veggies. We've got corn on the cob, some hot peppers, green peppers, onion. Now onions, I'm sure as you're aware, there is a issue with onions. Ours are local. They're from Canada, in Ontario specifically, so we don't have to worry about salmonella with that. Garlic, mushrooms, celery, of course the beef and the chorizo. Tomatoes. Now, when we went to start this, I realized that we didn't have any crushed tomatoes. So I have a can of stewed tomatoes and a can of whole tomatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to puree both of them. So that way it just kind of breaks it down a little bit more, and it gets more of that consistency. Like, I don't mind runny chili with like hunks of tomato, but Ken's not a huge fan of tomato.
I don't mind it in chili because it takes on the flavor of everything else. It's very much a texture thing for me when you do things like put it on a hamburger.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that don't like tomato on their hamburger. So yeah, so for now I'm just going to move that to the side and we shall get started. Do you want to maybe chop up some of the mushrooms while I work on one of these things? Just going to move my coffee out of the way.
Which knife should I use? Because I don't want to...
Either or.
Okay.
I just figured I'm going to need this one for the garlic and onions, so alrighty. So just gonna basically coarse chop everything. I don't want it to be too fine, but I also don't want it to be so big that it's gonna take like 12 hours to cook down, because this is a crock pot that we're making. Because we're making crock pot chili, it is gonna cook down. It won't cook down as quickly as it would on the stove.
I don't cook, I burn things. So this is all question experience for me.
Now, one of the things I'm curious to try is the cookbook that I got Ken for his birthday. There's a recipe in there for Cincinnati style chili, so I'm curious to see how that would compare. I'll have to cook that up one day and see how it goes.
Yeah, because the packets that we have are fine, like the dry ingredient packets.
Yeah.
But they're expensive to get a hold of if you're not local.
Yeah.
Like for me to buy them on Amazon is very expensive.
Not only that, with everything going on with the border and whatnot, We order stuff from the States and we have to pay importing fees and duty and customs, so it's not as simple as just paying the difference for the exchange.
Right.
We also have to pay other fees on top of it. So
yeah, but yeah, we'll hopefully be able to test that out, and then if it ends up being good, we could do a video on that, because I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that aren't familiar with what Cincinnati style chili is.
yeah, it's completely different. We've explained it several times in several videos, but I think making it ourselves and seeing how the recipe fares in comparison would be really neat. I am positive that there's some Italian genes in my family at some point, I believe on my mom's side, because I, A, Harry, and B, just love garlic like it's going out of style. Like I love garlic. So if you're not a huge fan of garlic, or if you find it too spicy, you can definitely cut back on the garlic when you make this. I am going gung-ho and I'm adding 6 big cloves. So.
Yeah, because he knows that I like garlic too.
The garlic I'm not mincing too fine. I don't care if there's nice chunks, because
Smaller than that, or
love garlic. Oh no, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's good, baby. So ideally what we're doing is we're chopping up all the veggies first, and then we're gonna do the meat, so that way we don't have cross-contamination. It wouldn't really matter because it's all going in the same pot anyway. It's not like we're making a salad on a cutting board that we're gonna eat fresh. Like it's all, nothing's being eaten raw. It all needs to be cooked still. But just to avoid that chance of cross-contamination, we are just going to do that meat last.
You're really feeling those onions, aren't you?
Oh yeah, they are strong.
Yeah, like I'm leaning away from them because it's just wafting over here, and it's like, ugh.
So I've done 1 onion, 6 cloves of garlic. Ken did, what was that, 5 or 6 mushrooms?
Yeah, I think it was 6.
2 stalks of celery. I'm just chopping that up now.
Yeah, I wish we would have had the overhead camera this time. The battery was dead when we went to turn it on, so.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. We tried to get everything all prepped and ready to go, and for some reason just...
Best laid plans, as they say.
Yeah, like the tomatoes, finding out that we didn't have crushed tomatoes.
Or finding out that we were out of cumin at the last minute, which I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal because we have chorizo that we're adding. If it was just like ground beef that we were starting with, I would definitely say, oh no, we need to get the cumin, but...
Yeah, the chorizo has such a strong flavor anyway.
Exactly.
So as you can see, the onion, the garlic, and the celery, that's all chopped up. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump all that in. And if you're making this on the stove, you would want to brown the veggies first, just so it'll cook quicker. But like I said, crock pot, so.
Exactly.
So in go the mushrooms.
Blaze, are you paying attention? Should I dump these in?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I should have done that toward the camera. Sorry, guys.
I don't know if you want to chop that up and I'll work on the hot pepper. Make sure you wash your hands well or wear gloves.
Yeah, especially after you're finished so that you don't accidentally rub your eyes and rub hot pepper residue into your eyes.
Looks like a witch's nose. I dare not put that on my face, but it looks like a beak. Love it. So there's the 1 hot pepper. This one's a chili pepper. I can't remember what the other one was. They were from my my mom's neighbor's garden.
Oh, the one from Montana?
Yeah. Also a American-Canadian couple, so small world.
We like spicy foods. It's just that it's making our eyes water right now. So.
Yeah, and what's not helping is we have our air turned off right now because
you guys need
it
to
interferes. We've tried filming a few different ways to see if there's some way that we could keep the air on, and it just ultimately creates too much background noise, so it's just not good. Now, corn on the cob.
What the Iroquois call maize. Bell pepper.
I just want to cut the corn right off the stalk. And it doesn't matter if the pieces are still all stuck together, that's okay, because as it's cooking, it's going to break down.
You are making a mess.
There is so much corn at our feet right now. So there is the corn. I'm just dumping all that in together. So it's already looking like a really nice vegetarian chili, but of course,
Yeah.
we're not making vegetarian chili.
And actually, since we mentioned it, if any of you guys out there are vegetarian and you know of a good chorizo substitute specifically, let us know.
Yeah, that would be really, really great. We've tossed around the idea several times over the last year and a half of trying to go vegan for like 30 days as a challenge and see how everything pans out with that.
And not annoy everybody by telling them that we're vegan. He's checking on Blaze, making sure he's all right. I think he's writing all this down, actually.
Just keeping an eye on everything, making sure we're doing our job properly.
He says it smells so good, he has to know the recipe.
Well, we will have to make sure that we include the recipe in the description below. Now, because these are stewed and whole tomatoes that we're pureeing, it is a little bit more liquidy than you would have with crushed tomatoes. So, to balance that out, we're actually adding a can of tomato paste. So that'll thicken it up a little bit. So that was one can. I have to do the second one. I am a total weirdo. I could literally open up a can of whole tomatoes just like that and sit there and eat them. Like, I love tomatoes, love garlic, definitely some Italian genes on my mom's side. So the best thing to do with your beans is you never want to cook them with the brine that they're in. You always want to strain them and rinse them out. You can take the brine that is used in chickpeas and use that as an egg white substitute. Apparently it works really, really well for making vegan meringue. Now, of course, as always, it's definitely important to make sure you're recycling all your cans. So yeah, that's looking like a really nice vegetarian chili.
Yes, it is.
And then we're just gonna throw in that chorizo.
It's super colorful, too.
I'm gonna get this tomato paste out. Okay, so the chorizo, the best way to use sausage in a recipe is definitely take the casing off. So you just wanna run a knife along the edge. It'll split open, and you literally just pull it out of the casing. Behind me, I have the ground beef. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, look away! Ah! That I'm literally just dropping a couple chunks in.
So how much ground beef was that?
That was about half a pound, maybe a little bit more. So because this now has raw meat in it, you definitely want to let this go the full time before trying it, because if you don't, you will end up sick. This we can kind of break apart as we drop it in. Just make it a little bit easier. And as it cooks down, it will break apart further, so don't worry about making sure it's in tiny little chunks, because it will get there. So I'm just mixing around all that chorizo and ground beef and veggies, and oh my god, it's so thick.
Better watch out, Blaze will get splashed.
Now I wonder what heat level Blaze likes for chili. What do you think? Is he a 5-alarm chili guy?
Not sure. Let's pick him up and see what he thinks.
So we have 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, paprika. Love me some paprika. So for that, tablespoon.
Me too, but usually when it's on deviled eggs.
All right.
Judge me for my whiteness. I like deviled eggs.
Just a very light sprinkling of some crushed chili flakes. Now this adds a little bit of sweetness to it. I'm going to do roughly 3/4 of a tablespoon of onion powder. Now I said it before and I'll say it again, I love garlic. So even though we added 6 cloves, I'm actually adding a teaspoon of garlic powder, just because it's more of like a roasted garlic flavor. It's not quite the same as the raw garlic. You do want to add a roughly half a teaspoon of salt. We'll get that all mixed around. And again, do not eat this for a minimum of 5 to 6 hours, depending on how you cook it.
So, as I'm sure you can probably already tell with the fact that it has chorizo and chili powder and cayenne in it, we like a hot chili.
Oh yeah.
So, I think this is going to be actually right up Blaze's alley.
Oh yeah. He's a fire-breathing dragon, so we got to make sure he's got lots of fuel for that little breath. That is a 5-alarm chili. I mean, we could make it a lot hotter,
Oh
but
yeah, but that's not our goal. We don't want to just light ourselves on fire. Like, we just like a lot of heat to the
heat with flavor. If it's pure heat and no flavor, it just ruins it.
I
So-
can't tell you how many times I've had chilies that just taste like hot sauce, like that really vinegary hot sauce.
So we are going to turn this on to 2 and let this go for 4 hours, stirring every half hour, just to make sure that the meat cooks through evenly.
But you can do this in the morning if you're doing it before work and then going and leaving and coming back. Just set it on the lowest setting, and it's more than fine to cook for 8+ hours.
Yes, and if you have a Instant Pot, you can just do the same recipe, throw it in the Instant Pot. I think there's a setting for it, and in 20 minutes you'd have a well cooked down chili and it would be perfect. But we don't have an Instant Pot, we have a crock pot. So that is what we're gonna do. So we are going to let this go for a couple hours and we'll be back to check on it. Sound good, Blaze? All right, guys, so we are back and it smells amazing in here. I think Chef Blaze has been keeping an eye on the chili for us. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. He's been the one that's been stirring it for us every so often. He's been inspecting it and making sure it tastes just right.
Which means 5 alarm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have Blaze try it first and see what he thinks.
Yes.
Because I'm sure dragons will know if it's the right level of heat. If it makes them breathe fire, then we are good.
Why is it spicy?
Well, I think it's good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's safe for us to eat. Might be too
Yeah.
hot, but all right. So yeah.
Well, I guess we're going to have to give it a shot and let the people know what we think, huh?
Yeah, we'll dig in and see. And I feel like this is going to be like one of those Julian cooking videos where he just goes to try it at the end and then just like ends up sitting there eating the entire thing,
Yeah.
trying to be professional, and then just the whole time like,
Does that mean I get to Jenna Marbles? You can go, Julian!
that means you get to run in and steal all my vegan poutine. God, I miss her.
Me too.
Jenna, we miss you. Nice and hot.
Bon appetit. It's got just the right amount of heat to it. And
That corn adds a little bit
Yeah.
of sweetness to it.
that's literally what I was going to say. It's got a nice sweetness to it, but not overly sweet. It's got like a sweet corn, obviously, sweetness to it.
Yeah, and I was a little bit worried because we ran into cumin before we started. I didn't know how it was going to turn out without the cumin, but I think that chorizo gave it a nice smoky flavor.
I think the cumin would have probably put it over the top.
Yeah, I find sometimes with chili, like cumin is obviously a necessity, but sometimes it just makes it taste generic. You know what I mean? Like that old El Paso taco spice kind of flavor to it sometimes, so it's nice to have other flavors in there, which is why I really like the corn and the chorizo.
It's a really robust flavor, but there's just like a hint of that sweet corn to it that just makes it kind of sweet and spicy, so it's nice.
Oh yeah. So I'm excited to go and finish this off. I'm sure Ken is as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that is going to do it for us this week, guys. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who sent in any comments on our previous video to let us know what kind of recipes and things that you've passed down. It's wonderful hearing all the different recipes and ideas, and so I just want to thank you guys again. That was absolutely fantastic. Well, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.